For those people who are not just starting off or just at the beginning of their journey on their work permit, right? You've finished your education, now you're thinking, okay, now let me get started with my work experience. What should I do? A lot of you are falling into the belief system that by completing a PSW course and an early childhood educator course, there is a pathway, there is a PR waiting for you at the other end. Well, that's not true. So let me break it down for you so that you have a better understanding of what you need to do, right? Let's take the PSW course to start with. Now, a lot of people saying, do a PSW course, blah, 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 blah. On a work permit, can you do a 6 months course? As far as I'm concerned, and the way I have read, the way I have understood from IRCC, yes, you can. For a program which is 6 months or less without study permit. However, if you're too concerned about it, do an online course, do a hybrid course. So as long as you're not doing an in-person studies, those should not really make any difference. After you've completed this program, PSW program, for 6 months, what do you do next? The most important bit is then gaining the work experience, because without the work experience, there is no pathway. PSW course by itself, early childhood educator course by itself doesn't lead to a PR path, PR directly. It's just not like that if you will complete the course, somebody is going to hand you a PR card in your hands. And that's not how it works. After completing the course, it basically gives you that basic ground to now apply for a job. Like, for example, with the PSW, you can apply as a home support worker. You can apply for a job as assistant nurse, nursing aide, orderlies. And in those occupations, with early childhood educator assistant, I mean, if you've done that course, you can apply for a job as an early childhood educator assistant. Now, only after you complete this work experience in these occupations that I'm talking to you about, then those programs create the eligibility for you to be able to apply if at all your CRS score is in that range where you might be invited in Express Entry or any other respective program. So let's understand what are the other options here. Once you've completed the course, once you get the 6 months of work experience, let's take each one of them separately. Under the PSW, once you've completed the program, you now have the work experience. Try and gain work experience as under knock code 33102, which is your nursing aides, orderlies, assistant nurses, that occupation. Why this particular occupation? Because after you've done this, after you've gained work experience in this particular occupation, you are now eligible in Express Entry. So try and gain at least 6 months. If you already have another 6 months of NOCB work experience in Canada, so then that would combine 6 months of that, 6 months of this, 1 year of work experience. You are now eligible as Canadian Experience class. And of this, 6 months is in your priority occupation, which is 33102, which gives you the advantage under the healthcare. Now that you are eligible with this knock code 33102 under the healthcare stream, now you need to make sure that your CRS score is high enough. Last row in healthcare was at 463. Don't expect the scores to be down or low. Expect that the scores will remain the same, similar, or even higher, because more and more people have now completed their work experiences, are now waiting for these draws to happen. So aim for that particular score, at least that CRS score, so that you have at least a shot at the healthcare category. Now, this is one pathway through the Express Entry. Another one is that 33102, this work experience that you have just gained, is also eligible under the home care worker pilot. So now that you have this work experience, and now if you're able to secure a job offer from a home care service provider, then next year, 31st of March 2026, you will also be eligible under the home care worker pilot stream when that opens. So now you don't have one, you have two streams where you're eligible. And if you now want to get exposed to the third stream, then try and gain this work experience for at least 1 year, so that you can then take a shot at even the Ontario's healthcare draw, if that was to happen. So now, out of this one PSW course, you now have 3 streams that you can target. Similarly, let's talk about the early childhood educator program, or the short courses that you're doing. This program will allow you, because you're not still getting a license. Once you have a license, you can get the ECE, early childhood educator job. However, don't be in a rush. Early childhood educator assistant is a much better option, because again, just like PSW, it gives you multiple options. So after you have completed early childhood educator assistant course, you get a job as an early childhood educator assistant. Now, this work experience as an early childhood educator assistant is eligible under the home child caregiver program, which will open again on the 31st of March 2026. So you gain the 6 months of experience, you have a job offer from a home care provider, and there you are now eligible under this particular stream. Not only that, also this stream is part of the education category in Express Entry. So if you already have another 6 months of NOCB job work experience, and You now have 6 months of this work experience. Voila, you can now be eligible under the Express Entries education category. And by any means, if you can extend this and get at least 1 year of work experience, well, then you never know, Ontario may also be looking to invite you. Now, both these programs, or rather both these occupations, have also found favor amongst a lot of RCIP communities. So if you take a look at, by now you already know Thunder Bay has issued the category list, Brandon, Manitoba has issued the category list, Timmins has issued the category list, and I think there are other couple of communities that have also issued out their occupation list. Take a look at that. See where you have the best chance of getting through. Identify an employer there, start working over there so that you can have a best shot at making use of these programs, which are also excellent in order to get you your PR options. So there you go. At least with these two courses, you now have an understanding. Instead of just watching a TikTok reel and just going for it all the way, at least understand what the pathway is so you can plan it and prepare it accordingly. Wishing you all the very best, and I will see you in the next video.